Este programa tem o patrocínio North Avenue Bakery, Hotel Praia Sol, Luís Firmino Insurance, MCM Clinic, Top Burger, Go Car Service, Coimbra Restaurant. Welcome to another The Legal Way. It's a pleasure to be with you once again, and it is a pleasure to speak about what matters. Speaking about immigration, speaking about everything that happened in that field, and it's with a great pleasure that I welcome again to our studio Dr. George Russo. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And Dr. Cynthia Marcos Russo as well.
Thank you, Ricky. Thanks for having us.
Always a pleasure. É sempre um prazer estarmos na vossa companhia. Já sabe, podem entrar em contato connosco através das redes sociais, também por private message. Já sabe, os links estão aí. Faça-nos as vossas perguntas. Let us know what bothers you, and we try to find a clear answer for anything that may impact you. I'd like to start with Dr. George Russo. Is a lot of changed lately? Asylum rules. Was any big change that happened lately?
Well, they've made it a lot harder for asylum in the last 2 years. So as far as big changes, yeah, they're making changes to the types of categories that qualify for asylum, right?
Okay.
One of the biggest changes is restricting cases of domestic violence in asylum cases, okay? So they're now taking the position that many domestic violence cases no longer meet the legal threshold to qualify for asylum. Basically, they say that, that's a private actor that happens in another country, and that the government of that country is powerless to stop it. Therefore, it doesn't meet the statutory requirement of asylum. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of asylum cases are based on. So they're definitely making it harder, for sure.
Someone is asking me that they made a lot of requests for evidence. What that means when they ask for additional information.
In what kind of case?
Asylum case. Is that possible to be?
Well, they don't ask for evidence typically. You have to submit your evidence.
You need to submit before it gets approved.
Before the final hearing, yes.
Ok. Right. Só fica aqui a clarificação. Quando se submete um caso de asilo, toda a informação tem que ser submetida antes de ser aprovada. Portanto, é algo que estava, que era importante saber. Dr. Cynthia, a lot of questions, higher filling fees. Is that true? The government is planning to charge more money for the case?
Oh yes, the fees, yeah, they've gone up.
They're going up?
Yeah, they're going up. And also the penalties for if you get an order of deportation, they said that they're going to go after daily. They've instituted penalties, but now they said they're going to really go after people and collect the penalties if they don't leave.
So basically, if someone was detained, was bailed out, and decided not to go, is that what you mean?
Right, yes. There's a penalty. Every day there'll be a penalty.
There will be a penalty. And then what happens if that person is not paying and not leaving the country?
Well, before they get out, usually they did have a sponsor. Not always, but most of the times they had a sponsor who would lose the money that they put up for them if they don't show up or leave.
So, fica aqui, portanto, muito importante, se alguém foi detido pela imigração e depois foi libertado debaixo de uma fiança, bail-out, é muito importante que essa pessoa deixe o país, porquê? Porque haverá penalidades adicionais in a daily case, you mean? Daily,
Yeah,
by
there's
day?
penalties daily, yeah.
Daily penalties, portanto, há coimas adicionais por dia, por todos os dias extra que essa pessoa ficou no país sem proativamente seguir.
That's written on their order when they get it. I don't know how they're going to actually be able to follow through with this if the person's gone and, I mean, even if they keep the bond, the money they put up for bond, 10, 20,000, I mean, they can, keep that, I guess, but...
But will be always a gray area, right?
Yeah.
Só fica aqui, portanto, a clarificação. Doctor, can you explain the varying rules? And I guess that we go back to request for evidence in marriage. What is the USCIS vetting
In
a marriage case?
the legitimacy of the marriage.
Okay, so
Right.
that they will be able to, how the process goes. Can you explain to us?
So first, they want to verify the legitimacy of the relationship. Could be marriage, it could be through whatever other immediate relative relationship or secondary relationship that you have. They verify that, vet the relationship. Once that's done, and then assuming you're talking about green card, they move towards the eligibility for a green card requirements, which is various rules of inadmissibility, and so that you meet the requirements. Those are stuff involving crimes, stuff involving financials, basically all of the questions that are on the green card application. That's what they're looking for. They go through each section one by one.
Someone asked him, how many interviews they can do in the marriage process? More than one?
You'll typically get one interview, and then if they have more questions, they could issue you a request for evidence, and then they could schedule you for a second interview.
Now, the decision must be done by that second interview, or?
Yes.
Yes. Só fica aqui, portanto, a clarificação. O processo de casamento para um cartão verde poderá, numa primeira entrevista, haver lugar a uma segunda entrevista, se há questões que são um bocadinho pertinentes e que não estão completamente clarificadas. Basicamente, o que o oficial da imigração faz é ter a certeza que o casamento é legítimo. E depois a decisão terá que ser tomada nessa segunda entrevista. Doutora, we're talking about a challenge for people with green cards. Are we facing that?
Challenges?
Yes.
Well...
What is the most common situation?
Well, they're tougher these days, to become American citizen, people who have a green card. Things that in the past that they have discretion to approve or disapprove when you go to become a citizen if you're a green card holder, right? So things might have happened. Let's say you had a crime, but then it was dismissed. They're a little harder on all of that, on all of those proofs. Also, there's a recent decision come down on illegal voting. Now, in the past, years ago, there were people that illegally voted but did not intend to, and there was ways you have to submit proof, and then it would go to a panel of 7 people, and they would decide whether or not that green card holder would become a citizen. Now it seems as if you illegally voted, it's outright deportation. That's the recent. Yeah, so someone who votes that shouldn't have voted. Because if you have a green card, you can't vote for president. You can, as a green card holder in certain states, vote for local municipality ordinances and things of that nature. It depends on your state. But for the most part, in New Jersey, for example, you can't vote.
You cannot vote, correct.
And most states, you cannot vote. So if you voted, and you didn't know, sometimes when you were younger and you renewed your driver's license, they just automatically registered you to vote. That was in the past. So, so I don't know now. And now when you go to renew your license, apparently they're going to immediately register you for the draft, which is something new. And so it'll be very interesting that
To
if they,
see how
how
that
could they
evolves.
register you for the draft when you're not even a citizen, maybe, right?
Correct.
So it's,
So that
Yeah.
will be legal boundaries on
Yeah.
that situation.
well, there are situations in World War II, for example, if we were in a world war and you were unlawful and volunteered for the military, I know my mother had a case
Correct.
years ago like this, Portuguese gentleman, and he was unlawful, but World War II occurred, and he fought in the war, and then he got his green card and became a citizen. So, but we'd have to be in a world war. Now,
Correct.
I don't know what war we're in now. I'm not qualified to answer that. So we'll wait and see. But things are harder for people with green cards, yes. I mean, if you had gotten a DUI in the past, if it was older, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, there were certain things you can ask for waivers. Now it still exists, but it's a lot harder, a lot harder.
One of the questions that a lot of people is asking has to do with family restrictions for sponsorships. So,
Okay.
where we are as far as that, is any new restrictions or
No,
No?
I can't think of any. No.
no? So,
Besides having the fact that they're all slower now.
how long will take the process? We heard stories like fathers to sons over the age that can
that
take
takes
10,
forever.
12.
I just looked today. American citizens calling an unmarried adult child, adult, they're calling 2017.
9 years ago.
Yeah, and if you're married, they were calling 2012.
So 14, 15 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
That's any change as far as DACA?
You could take this one, George.
No, not really. It's basically,
Yeah.
if you have DACA, you should still renew it.
Should be, is any case that a person that has the DACA be facing any challenge or?
Yes, there are cases that are out there.
What are the most common situations where a person needs to be careful about?
Anyone with any type of criminal history, that's really it.
Is anyone with a criminal history can be removed at the time that they request that?
No, it just could either reopen or trigger removal proceedings against them, even if they have it. Right. So when you go for DACA, like you'll file the form, you'll do the fingerprints, the biometrics, whatever. But if you've been arrested and like they don't know about it, and then you go to do the fingerprints again, and then now they do know about it, they could send you to the judge, right? And then you have to deal with that. And it depends on the circumstances of, your arrest and how that factors in, for sure.
And there are a lot of them that are minors brought into the country with their parents, and they might have deportation or removal orders. And they don't know about that, or maybe later on they find out about that. And the system has been kind, and with a lot of them when they're minors, and renewing the DACA, and they still can and they still should. But those are things that, this administration is coming down harder on.
So in a situation like that, like for example, someone with an order of removal, and it's a person that is a young adult, for example, never knew what they can do.
Well, they need to see a lawyer.
They need to see a lawyer.
They need to see us. Yeah.
E é por isso que é muito importante. 48 Wilson Avenue, 973-344-9120, because it's always a light at the end of the tunnel. We just need to make sure that we understand what are the situation, and more important, the options that we have to fix that issue. Doctor, I have a question for a Portuguese gentleman. EU taxes, IRS taxes. Thinking, it's been late for 3-4 years, about $40,000, planning to become American citizen. Should we worry about that?
Well, he can become an American citizen if that's all he has. It's discretionary, but he must be on an IRS-approved plan.
Correct.
So the IRS will normally say, okay, you owe $40,000 based on what you submitted, your expenses. You have to pay X per month. And then when you go to your citizenship exam, they're going to want this. They want to see the IRS letter that says, this is your plan, this is what you have to pay per month, and yes, you can become a citizen as long as you're on a plan and you're paying.
Correct. You just cannot ignore that situation.
Exactly.
Sim.
Exactly.
Fica aqui, portanto, é muito importante alguém que tenha, por exemplo, problemas de impostos não pagos, essa pessoa, portanto, poderá aplicar e tornar-se cidadão americano, mas terá que estar num plano de pagamento com o IRS e ter a certeza que tem toda essa documentação no momento da entrevista, porque será crucial para ser aprovado ou não. I have another question regarding visa H-1B. Can you explain what are the qualifications for that?
Me? No.
Yeah.
Well, it's
I skipped that one.
Right.
That was one of the questions that I had.
Yeah. So H-1B is a longer-term temporary work visa that runs for, what, 4 years, right?
3 years.
3 or 4 years.
But you can renew it for an extra
Okay.
3 years.
Right. It runs through a lottery system, which the deadline just passed for the next cycle is in March. And you'll submit an application, you get approved. If you get approved, then you can fill out the forms to submit your H-1B application, right? And then you will enter. It's basically an employer has to sponsor you to come, right? If you're trying to sponsor yourself, H-1B is not the visa for you. You have to have a U.S. employer that is willing and able to sponsor you for employment to the U.S. And H-1B is a non-immigrant visa, which means, you know, it's not a permanent, it's not a green card, right?
That visa, I'm sorry to interrupt you, can lead you to, is a path to become a legal resident?
I'll take this one.
Sure.
Yeah.
There is a path eventually. An H-1B is 3 years, and then you have to renew another 3 years. The problem here in today's administration is, and you must be in legal status to request the H-1B. You cannot be visa waiver overstay, or you had to still be in legal status. You can't
Correct.
like decide, okay, I have a sponsor now, and I'm going to do H-1B. Because if that's number one.
Correct.
So let's say you were legal the whole time, you found a sponsor, usually your employer will pay for your lawyer to file these paperwork, because the employer signs papers, you sign papers. Usually you have to have a college degree or master's degree as well. It depends on the job. And then there's recruitment, so the employer files these forms, and then you're approved. Maybe if you're chosen on the lottery, you know, the lottery is difficult, like George explained. There's very few numbers available for all these people that want these jobs. So after you get your H-1B, if they immediately start the perm process towards the permanent case, okay, you hope and pray that it can be finished, but it's very difficult these days to get it completed because every single case pretty much is audited. In the past, they were not. You would file your papers for the perm and the labor cert, and then you were not always audited, but now almost everybody's audited. That adds another 6, 8, 9 months to the period. And if you're not done, and you're done with all your H-1Bs, like 6 years, or your one extension of another year, I think, but if you're not done by then you're out of status, or you have to leave and then come back legal. So it's complicated.
It is.
If you want to do it, it is important to see. We recommend sometimes, we don't do the employment anymore. We do recommend certain attorneys that specialize in that, because it's really tough with all the deadlines and the details and all the changes.
Correto. Fica aqui, portanto, a informação. Poderá ser pedido, poderá haver, portanto, um caminho para a legalização através do H1B, mas muito importante, não poderá ser requerido se não está em situação legal no país, porque se está em situação ilegal, não poderá fazer esse requerimento. Dr. Cynthia Marcos Russo, I have a question from a Portuguese person.
Só preciso falar em português, então.
Pode falar um pouquinho. Ele teve um caso de violência doméstica que não avançou. Portanto, teve um problema com a esposa, a polícia veio a casa, mas nunca foi a uma corte, nunca foi a um tribunal. Quer se tornar cidadão americano, tem cartão verde há 20 e poucos anos, poderá ter riscos, o que é que terá que ter em seu poder para provar que o caso não...
Tem que ter em seu poder as provas que o caso foi largado, porque se ele teve um caso contra ele e a polícia foi chamado, com certeza a mulher não foi avante e
Correto.
não continuou. Algumas vezes a polícia pode continuar, mas se não foi avante nada, ele tem que ter em seu poder as cópias do reportes da polícia e o Certified Disposition mostrando que nada foi avante.
Correto. E essa informação pode ser requerida, portanto, no Departamento de Polícia, porque nunca foi a um tribunal.
É verdade. É verdade.
Correto. Fica aqui, portanto, essa informação. Terá que estar munido de toda a informação relacionada com o caso para ter a certeza que pode comprovar que não teve.
Se eles têm medo de pedir, nós podemos fazer isso no escritório, o Jorge pode fazer.
Correto. Isso também, muito importante. As pessoas muitas vezes têm medo ou não sabem fazer esse pedido, podem consultar sempre um advogado que poderá fazer esse pedido para terem a certeza que está toda a situação clarificada. 973-344-9120. And now we have another case that is similar to that. Is a person that had a problem with the immigration. When they come to the country, they file the paperwork, and when everything went through, they get the green card through employment. But when they they did the interview to become American citizen, they passed the interview, but they did a background that shows that they entering the country and they had a drive license under the different name, under their name. The person explained that they went to court. It was a court case on that, but he's been waiting now for 6 months for an answer from the immigration for the decision. Is that a normal situation?
Well, I guess in these days it might be normal because they're taking so long. Yeah, if they don't get anywhere, we could try to do a status and figure it out, but...
Correct. So,
Yeah.
poderá ser, depende de todo o tempo que está a demorar para conseguir, portanto, a resolução. Podem e devem contactar um advogado para terem a certeza que esse pedido para verificar, portanto, exatamente o que é que está a impedir o caso de andar. I have another question. So a lot of people is concerning about ICE activities and Doctor, how are the things? Still complicated, still difficult, still important to check with an attorney to find out exactly what needs to be done to prevent a person to be, for example, deported, or more important, I think that prevention becomes crucial. I heard the other day someone saying that probably one of the best decisions will be contact an attorney. If someone are in the situation illegal in the country, have kids, for example, contact an attorney to make sure that they exhaust every single option if that happens. Is that true? Is something that...
Well, they should know the basics information of their case before, like at all times. There's a lot of people that don't even realize that they have a deportation order because maybe they came into the U.S. through the border when they were younger and they don't remember, but they were fingerprinted, and for whatever reason they,
And that is something that an attorney can check?
Well, he can be either, that type of information can be found out, yeah, they should know about stuff like that, for sure.
Correct. That will be the first situation.
One of the first things.
One
yeah.
of the first. Other concern that the people has to do with is a couple that is telling me that they have two kids under the age, so 14, 13 years old.
Right.
What happened if both parents got deported to those kids? What a lawyer can do to help in that situation?
I assume the kids would go back with them.
We'll go back with them?
Right? Yeah.
I mean, unless they're going to turn over their children to some family relative here.
Right.
But that can be done?
in theory,
Well, they can do a limited.
The kid's born here.
I understand. They can do a limited power of attorney to a family member if they want that family member to be their temporary guardian. You know, I mean, we can, guide them in that direction.
Do you think that will be probably because the kids are born here, so they are American citizens, right? That is something that
Those are tough ages to leave your kids.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
If they're born here, they could always come back here, so they might as well go back home to their country and learn
Correct.
another language correctly.
Correto. Só fica aqui, portanto, a informação. Se tem filhos, por exemplo, um casal ilegal, se tem filhos nascidos aqui nos Estados Unidos, eles têm sempre a opção de regressarem aos Estados Unidos. Por isso mesmo, poderá sempre ser uma opção irem com os pais, em caso de uma possível deportação, porque os filhos poderão sempre voltar aqui aos Estados Unidos. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, Doctor. What do you think that is the most important thing for the people to know out there as far as immigrations in those days, and what are the recommendations that you have for everyone that is facing a difficult situation?
I would say that the most important thing is that to not give up if you think you're in a rough situation. To keep the faith, and then find someone who's going to help tell you the truth, and then give you the best information to be able to make the best decision for yourself and for your family. The government's going to try to make things harder. They're moving people all over the country if they get detained. We recently had someone who was picked up in New Jersey and was moved to another part of the country, despite the fact that his family's here.
That's a normal occurrence today.
Right, it's a normal occurrence. One of the things that we did was we filed a petition for writ of habeas corpus in a federal court, and the judge approved that motion, the petition at least, and now the immigration judge has to either release this individual so they can come back home or provide them with a bond hearing. So it's important to always exhaust your options and figure out whether or not you can actually do something. But find someone who you can trust to give you the information.
Yeah. Doctor, any advice besides the one that Doctor just provided?
No, George said it all. It's good.
Caros amigos, fica aqui também a informação do Dr. George Russo e da Dra. Cíntia Marques Russo. Estão localizados no 48 da Wilson Avenue, aqui na cidade de Newark. O número de telefone é o 973-344-9120. Este foi mais um Legal Way. George, thank you very much for your availability, and I hope that next time you find easier way to park.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'll just walk.
Doutora, muito obrigada pela sua...
No, thank you, Ricky.
E assim, este foi mais um Legal Way. Já a seguir vamos ter a Cíntia com Notícias ao Dia. Obrigado por ter estado na nossa companhia.
Good night. And Feliz 5 de Mayo.
Yep.